Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is John Park, and welcome to another design tutorial series. For today's lesson, we're actually going to be taking an existing object and redesigning it. So let's get started. So you guys have an option of doing this traditionally as well, as I mentioned in my in the previous tutorial. This is not something that's mandatory for Photoshop. However, Photoshop does allows us to basically kind of arrange the reference in a much more easier manner. So alright, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with step one, is understanding the object, understanding the subject matter, right? So let's go ahead and do that first. Before any of you guys ever get started with drawing, painting, or whatever it is, you always want to do your warm-ups, right? Just like when you go on a run or you work out, you want to stretch and get your body or your muscles warmed up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. This is just my warm-up phase, and I just want to kind of get my lines and kind of the flowiness going, you know. Just really want to kind of, even though this is digital, even though you guys might be working on a Cintiq or a Wacom tablet, it's kind of the same thing where, you know, you really want to get your eye and hand coordination going. And I know sometimes finding the perspective on a photograph can be tricky, right? If we don't have an obvious horizon line or obvious vanishing point. But what I like to do is just kind of match up all of the lines here on the actual building and just kind of see where the lines intersect, right? That's the easiest way to figure out where your vanishing point is just kind of see where the lines intersect. And you'll notice by doing 2 or 3, you'll start to find the true vanishing point. Just by getting all these lines right in. Kind of show off the little curvature of that base here. It looks like it's kind of rounding off, so that's kind of the reason why I drew in like a little bit of a curve. But if you want it more squared, then just go ahead and just square it off. Okay, there's a little bit of space here in between these two cement curb structures here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just draw on that. With these little poles. Now these poles are obviously for safety issues. I think so that dumb drivers don't, you know, drive through and completely ram into the this midsection here, or into other cars, or into the actual columns here. So I think that's what these little things are for, these little poles here, to kind of prevent cars from running to it. Alright, so let's just take a look at this stuff, because man, there's so much crap in here that's freaking awesome. You know, there's like just all the architectural details, and I'm gonna refer to this as much as I can. I mean, wood planks and all this stuff. I mean, this is something that anytime I have a question like, what does a roof look like? Well, that's what it's gonna look like. Or this right here, it's gonna be some sort of large wooden, you know, overhang, and this little building, it's gonna look something like that, right? With little signs that are made of made of wood and paint. Columns, you got these large columns. What is that gonna look like? Well, it's either probably gonna look like a big 2x, or whatever this is, like a 6x6 post, or we can have like these little tiny columns here, or these large logs. So it just depends on like what we want to pick and pull from it. But I know for a fact that I'm gonna have this reference open on the side while we're drawing. You know, it seems like small details like this doesn't go a long way, but man, it goes a long way, guys. I'll tell you that. Like there's something about just being attentive to detail. It gives your drawing so much more depth. You know, it's not just like a quick speed painting, or like a gesture. You know, it fairly resembles a very accurate kind of design. And you know, if anything, a lot of companies, a lot of directors and art directors really love this kind of attention to detail, because it's stuff that they're gonna want to really focus and build on, you know. And you know, like adding in all these little details helps loosen up the drawing a little bit too. So it's not like so stiff. It's a little bit more. It's a bit more illustrated, you know. Because again, we are doing a drawing after all. It doesn't have to be this like medical, like super blueprinty kind of engineering drawing. You know, you can still have a little bit of a gesture and fun with it. All right, there you go. We have our Western themed gas station. But yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next design session.